Welcome to episode 40 of Two Guys, One Sport. Shout it from the rooftops. Ajit Pai is a spineless invertebrate with an entire bag of dildos in his mouth. And as a result of what he and his cronies did today to remove net neutrality from law, I seriously hope that they all decide to celebrate by playing in traffic on I-95 South in Washington, D.C. Fuck them all. Hi, everybody. I'm Chris.
I'm George. It's going to be that kind of show, ladies and gentlemen. Chris,
Yeah.
I got you a Christmas present today.
Really? You did now?
Yeah. I did. I got you something small. So if you get a package, do you want me to tell you or you want to be surprised?
Well, I mean, you already sent me but I
got you something small.
The Miss Moxie
I got you.
vinyl thing.
Fuck it, I'll tell you. So I got you a Roman Reigns gingerbread doll ornament from WWE Shop.
Okay.
It was half off. It was half off. The whole thing cost $10 for shipping.
Nice.
They're cute as fuck. I got myself an AJ Styles one.
Yeah, good deal.
I figured you'd like a Roman Reigns gingerbread doll ornament.
It's not made out of actual gingerbread.
No. I wish, because gingerbread is proof that God loves us and wants us to be happy.
Fucking delicious stuff.
They're I don't know. Google WWE gingerbread ornaments. They're cute.
All right. Cool. Good stuff.
Yeah,
thank you, sir.
They were on sale, and I said, Chris would like one of these.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I don't even have a Christmas tree in my apartment, but
I just got one. This is my first Christmas on my own in like 7 years. So
Nice.
My mom and sister bought me a Christmas tree, and it's very bare. It has a few ornaments, but I was on the stall. I was looking at it all dopey because who doesn't love Christmas,
Yeah,
And
seriously.
I was like, oh. And then I saw the floor, and there were needles shedding, and I was pissed. And the Christmas spirit went away.
Because you hit the
But I had to
vacuum.
clean up fake needles.
Yeah.
No, it's a little 3-foot tree.
Yeah.
He's got
my problem is that I won't accept anything but a live tree because of the fact that when I was growing up, we lived across the street from an elderly couple that had like 6 acres of property, and most of that property was used as a giant pine tree farm.
nice.
And they let people come from all across the neighborhood come to their farm and cut their own Christmas trees. And so we would just walk across the street and get our Christmas tree and drag it back across the street, and that was it. But ever since then, it's like Christmas is not acceptable unless it's with a real tree. So I can't even have a Christmas tree because how the fuck am I going to get a freaking pine tree into my Brooklyn apartments? That would not go well.
I have asthma, and I'm allergic to like everything.
Yeah.
I got tested. You know how they give you the shots in your arm and you get tested, and they form little bumps and they measure the size of the bumps.
Oh yeah, I hate those.
The lady was like, "Yeah, you got a lot of bumps." I'm like, "Yeah, I could have told you that." I feel horrible, by the way.
I hate everything about
I feel
this.
horrible. Give me some Benadryl. I feel really bad with all these stuff that you injected into me.
Yep.
So, we've always had fake trees. So
Yeah.
I have a little fake tree. I'm looking at it. He's got a little Star Wars logo. I'm going to see Star Wars Saturday.
Nice.
You going to Star Wars this weekend?
I don't think I'm going to go through. I don't think I'm going to brave the opening weekend crowds because I've done that before, and it's just
I got a Saturday morning, like 11 a.m. So
it's never fun. I'm going to wait until 2 weeks from now. Well, I guess a week and a half from now when I'm in Pittsburgh with my family for Christmas, and we'll all go see it together then.
Yeah, big fan of the Christmas. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Christmas night movies.
Yeah.
Because after spending all day with your family, you know what I mean? You'd be like, "Hey guys,
yeah,
I'm going."
It works out well.
I already paid for the ticket. I can't hang out with all y'all anymore.
It works out well for us because we're going to my mom's younger sister's house, and her husband is Jewish, and her daughters are raised Jewish as well. So they're, obviously we try to be, thoughtful and inclusive of the fact that we're doing different religious holidays. So we kind of just merge everything together and keep as much of the religious tradition out of it as possible. So it's going to be a fairly nondescript celebration. So I think a movie will fit in kind of nicely with that.
I think my mom and sister are going to go see The Post.
Nice.
Tom Hanks and what's her name, Meryl Streep, and I think we're going to go see that.
Good deal.
So, yeah, and then we're gonna hang out and play cards and get takeout.
Good deal.
Sounds great to me. Like, fuck yeah, right?
So how could there possibly be anything better?
I mean, yeah, exactly. So I just sent you the link to what I bought you. He's cute as hell. Don't hate him.
Nice. Thank you.
I can't post it in the YouTube because YouTube is whatever. But
because YouTube is YouTube. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. So matches of the week, my friend. You want to go first or should I?
I will.
You go for it.
In the continuation of our wonderful, if not 2017 series, where we talk about matches that could have made the top 10, if not for the fact that it was 2017 and one of the best years for wrestling that we've seen in forever. And you've said many times, George, you've said many times over the course of this show in its 40 episodes that we've been going.
40 episodes.
God, my God, guys. How did anybody let us last for 40 episodes?
Because we have awesome listeners, Chris.
Yeah.
And y'all are great.
Yes, you are. But you have said many times over this 40 episode arc that we've run that wrestling is simple, and sometimes you just need simple things for greatness. And one of those simple things being that sometimes it's great to just watch two guys beating the shit out of each other.
Oh, and I'm here for that.
In that vein, this week's match of the week is Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman in an ambulance match from WWE Great Balls of Fire, the worst pay-per-view name in history.
I remember liking this show. Is this?
It was a great show. It was a great show with a fucking stupid name.
Oh, it was terrible. This had Brock and Joe, right?
It did. The main event was Brock versus Joe. Yeah,
you know me. This was my feud of the year. I don't mean to cut you off, and I am all in on Roman and Braun just beating the ever-living crap out of each other.
Yeah, I mean they had such a great series of matches, and this was the culmination of that. These two finally putting the exclamation mark on their feud in the form of an ambulance being backed into a truck. But we'll get to that.
Yeah, all yours, my friend. I'm excited to hear about this.
This match started as any match would, with Roman out the gate trying to use his speed to outwit Braun and failing miserably right at the start and getting crushed and tossed around like a rag doll. And it was looking grim until Roman finally was able to slip away and start landing some of his power moves. And we had the typical Braun Strowman runs into the post spot that we have in every Braun Strowman match, because otherwise we would never have a competitive Braun Strowman match.
I'm telling you, if you wrestled Braun Strowman in an open field, you'd be screwed.
Yeah, you would never be able to get away.
Exactly. With nothing for him to run into, you would be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, you wrestle Braun Strowman on the beach, you're dead.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you can fight him or you can drown.
Yeah, but just run into the water.
Yeah, but Braun overcame running into the post and then slammed Roman, or almost powerbombed Roman into the post. It was just a straight drop with his spine straight into the post. It was amazing. Again, they get going back and forth. Braun started beating Roman with the stairs, and it was awful to watch until he missed and ran the stairs right into the other post. And then Roman started to make another comeback. Then we had the amazing spot of Roman is hitting Braun on his bad arm, the surgically repaired arm, with the chair, and then he starts hitting the other arm, and Braun just like turns and just is like it just woke him up, and he just
I love that. Yeah,
and he just stares death into Roman,
and Roman's like, oh shit.
And Roman hits him again and again, and then Braun yells in his face. My favorite moment of this match, Braun yells in his face, "Hit me again, you son of a bitch!" And Roman goes to hit him again, and Braun just grabs the chair, throws it to the side, and pile drives Roman into the barricade.
I love these two are so great together.
These
two are the best.
And that was just the first half of the match. From there, they go up the ramp. Braun launches Roman into the side of the ambulance. He goes to powerbomb Roman through the table. Roman slips out, sends Braun through the LED board. Braun starts beating Roman with a backboard from out the ambulance. It just turns into this slugfest until finally Roman goes for broke, tries to spear Braun into the ambulance, and Braun sidesteps it and shuts the doors as quickly as he possibly can to win the match. But Roman says, no, 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 sir. No, no, no. And reopens the doors, spears Braun, shoves him in the ambulance, takes him down into the catacombs of the arena, and backs the ambulance into a fucking trailer and crushes him inside.
Yeah, and like a loading dock or something, right?
It was on the loading dock. Yeah, there was a trailer that was parked in the dock without. The trailer was parked in the dock without the cab, and he just backs the ambulance right into the trailer. we get the amazing moment of Roman like stumbling out of the ambulance in
Kurt Angle just like losing
pain,
his mind.
and Kurt Angle coming up to him with his jaw agape and his arms out to the sides, like, what the fuck did you do? that full on like wide-eyed stare of disbelief of like, what the fuck just happened on my show? And Jamie Noble running around with a crowbar trying to pry open the ambulance.
The Jaws of Life taking like and then they have like an improv match that nobody watched.
Yep, Heath Slater and Kurt Hawkins had a match that nobody watched, and Slater reported on social media that he won with some sort of like 630 off the Titantron senton or something. It's something stupid. But yeah, it was insane. It was absolutely insane, and it was great. It was so much fun. I mean, simple stuff can oftentimes make the greatest matches, and this was a great match. It's not a technical masterpiece. It was a slugfest between two guys that had built a pretty friggin' solid feud with each other, despite the fact that the crowd kept trying to reverse the alignments and turn it into a shit show. These two work insanely well together. They had great matches all throughout this feud, and it was a great time. It was fantastic fun. Can't go wrong there.
Are you finished?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a list of names real quick.
Okay.
You tell me what these names have in common. You ready?
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar, AJ Styles, Cesaro, Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman, Seth Rollins. Trying to think who else. Sheamus. Dean Ambrose. And yeah, that's it. What do those names have in common?
All of them had their best matches with Roman Reigns.
I'm going to go best, but they all had great matches with Roman Reigns.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the proof's in the pudding.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't go best.
Madeline,
But they all had excellent matches with Roman Reigns.
That is,
and they were all different.
I will absolutely agree with that. Yes,
and they were all different. They were all the Roman Brock match is a lot different than the Roman AJ match, which is a lot different than the Roman Seth Dean triple threat, which is a lot different than any of the Shield tag matches, which is a lot different than the Roman Sheamus matches. Like, yeah. I mean, there's been nobody leading the charge against Roman Reigns more than me, but the proof's in the pudding when it comes to the in-ring. The guy's exceptional.
Mm-hmm. Like, great shout there, Madeline. The next night, Angle calls Roman out, and he's like, "Attitude Era, fuck you." That was great.
Yeah. Thank God.
One of his best moments on the mic this whole year.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. Get the fuck GTFO with that shit.
That was fantastic.
Get the hell out. Yeah, but like the proof's in the pudding. Yeah. Like I listed 8 guys off the top of my head, and I can go back through the archives and look for more if I wanted to. I'm sure they're there. If I pulled up his cage match and looked at the actual week by week, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean,
that was why I wanted this. I want this IC title reign to go for a while so we can get you can actually get the great series of challenge matches.
Yeah,
and
but it's already December. We got to get our some sort of build to Roman Brock.
Yeah.
So I mean, right. the I don't want to get this is my last thing on that because we got so much time to talk about that. We'll get. I think the Elimination Chamber. I think is a Raw pay-per-view.
It is.
Roman will win that to be named the #1 contender.
Absolutely, yeah. That's
then he will drop the belts between now and then on
possibly
some Raw.
At the Rumble.
Yeah, possibly. I don't think he won't. I mean, I don't see him defending the belt at the Rumble because he'll be in the Rumble most likely. Although he could double duty like last year.
Yeah.
You know, in the great troll moment of 2017.
Oh, my God. That was...
I told you the story of the little kid I was sitting next to, right? I was at that Rumble, the little kid.
Yeah, I don't remember, but I remember you telling me the story. I don't remember the details.
So I'm at the Rumble.
Tell me again.
I'm at the Rumble in San Antonio. And there's a little kid. He's between 8 and 10. Mm-hmm. And he's dressed like AJ Styles. He has the gloves. And he even has a John Cena headband on his head like AJ Styles did after he beat him at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
This kid is like young me. I'm so happy. This kid's super knowledgeable. He like reads the dirt sheets. He's super. You know what I mean?
He knows his
He's like
shit.
young. He's like a 10-year-old version of me. So he and I are talking, right? Because it's a long ass show. And number 29 comes out, and whoever the hell number 29 is, and number 30 comes, and the entire time it's going to be Joe. It's going to be Joe. Joe's going to be number 30. It's going to be Joe. Joe's going to be number 30.
That was what I was saying too.
Yeah, I mean, the kid was not the only one saying this, right? Number 30 comes out. It's fucking Roman. This kid is devastated. Devastated. This poor kid is like sitting there defeated. His dad turns to him and he goes, "Get used to it. WWE's been letting me down since before you were born." I was like, yeah, your dad's right, little man.
Wow.
So he can do double duty. But yeah, I don't think I can't think of the last time the IC title or US title has been defended at the Rumble itself, because usually like the mid-carders are in the Rumble. But
I think it might have been defended. Actually no, it was defended in I think it was in the 2016 Rumble, when Ambrose and Kevin Owens had that last.
The tables match.
It was a last man standing match.
There was ended with the table. He pushed him through a table, right?
Pushed him through two tables. See, he had stacked on top
off the ring post, right?
Yeah, off the ring post through two tables.
Through two tables. Yeah. That's right. Because then Ambrose was the last guy in the Rumble that Triple H won.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ambrose and Triple H had the best match of Dean Ambrose's career, which is astonishing to me.
Yeah.
The best singles match of Dean Ambrose's career, which is astonishing to me.
Yeah.
Because
at least Dean Ambrose's WWE career.
Yeah. You're right. I don't watch the deathmatch CZW stuff, like where he's using a sawzall to cut someone open. I don't watch a lot of that, so I can't.
Well, you'll be able to hear about that soon enough with our friends Ambrose Alley and Prince Moxley Lopez start up their Violent Wrestling podcast.
Sweet.
Talking about CZW. So if you want to get educated on that, you can.
And I need to get educated on that because it's a huge, important part of wrestling history. I mean, it's we talk about styles making fights. Like if you rank the Shield Boys in terms of in-ring ability, it'd be Roman, Seth, Dean.
Mm-hmm.
But all three of them had long pay-per-view matches with Triple H. Roman's was Seth's was shit, and Dean's was amazing. Like
shocking.
I don't know how, but it was.
Yeah. I don't understand it.
Like Roman's was Seth's was just garbage, and Dean's was incredible. So
it's a sad state of things when the highlight of both of those matches, when both the highlights of both the Roman and Seth matches were the moments when Steph got plastered.
Yeah, just
like the spear on Steph, and then Steph going through the table were the highlights of those two matches, respectively.
I think Triple H is still working the leg in both those matches. In alternate reality.
The alternate realities. Yep.
My match of the week.
Yeah, let's go.
My match of the week. MLW Wrestling posted one of their more recent shows for free on YouTube. This is Court Bauer's promotion.
Okay.
This was Never Say Never. Jimmy Jacobs was on this show, so it was after his firing from WWE, so November/December.
Mm-hmm.
The opening match, I hit play, and I'm like, I'll just do the opening match of my match of the week because I've never seen this show. Why not? It'll be a super indie. Was Matt Riddle versus Tom Lawler, so I was pretty happy.
Oh, yeah, I heard about this match, yeah.
Tom Lawler is also like Matt Riddle has had a weird year. We haven't talked about him a lot.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't really done a lot. He's done the Evolve stuff, but he dropped the Evolve championship when Flow Slam stopped paying Evolve.
The WWN title. He dropped it to Keith Lee,
And
I was there for that. It was a fucking fantastic match.
I'm sure it was, but he's kind of been under the radar this year. There hasn't been like this time last year. It was all, oh my God, Matt Riddle's going to WWE. It's only a matter of time. Oh my God, Matt Riddle's going to New Japan. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
WWE hasn't signed him yet, and I don't know why.
He's kind of been keeping it on the down low this year, which I think is actually a good thing.
I don't know why. He's cut the no showing out, which is nice. Be a professional. Right? I mean, don't double book yourself. He didn't go to Japan because he's worried he'll pull a Seidel and get arrested for possession, and which is a huge deal there. And he's just been killing it on the indies. But like this time last year, he was, oh my God, this is one of the 5 best wrestlers in the world, 10 best wrestlers in the world.
Yeah.
And he still is. It's just that nobody knows. There's not the buzz. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's been keeping it.
He wrestled Tom Lawler though in this match. In a battle of former UFC fighters turned pro wrestler who failed drug tests.
Huh.
Yeah, Riddle got popped for smoking pot too often and was eventually fired from the UFC or asked to be released. Tom Lawler was USADA, United States Anti-Doping Agency, for actual steroids or performance-enhancing drugs. So he's on a 2-year ban.
Nice.
He got permission to be a pro wrestler, and they said sure. And he's pretty good at it for a guy who's not super experienced.
Mm-hmm.
But this was Riddle's show. You could tell Lawler got gassed. A lot of MMA stuff, as I'm sure you can imagine.
Yeah.
Reversals, arm bars, dirty boxing, a lot of Muay Thai strikes, the open hand slaps to the ribs. Then it got good. Just chops, and forearms. Riddle going for the bro to sleep, and Lawler countering it with a buzzsaw kick. And it was just two guys going back and forth. Lots of counters, lots of reversals, standing switches. There was a great scene where they get some separation, and they forearm each other. Mm-hmm. And Lawler forearms him, hits him right in the head, and Riddle staggers back, and he slumps to the ropes. And Lawler's just standing there catching his breath, and Riddle just walks right up to him and just slaps him right in the face.
Nice.
It's like, all right, it's this kind of match. Riddle took some awesome bumps. He was flying like a mofo. Lawler with an overhead belly-to-belly. Mm-hmm. And Riddle just goes flying like he's AJ Styles.
Nice.
Which, I mean, Riddle's a big dude. A lot of fighting spirit. Super indie match. Match ends with a Riddle going for the bro mission, or not the bro mission, like just a rear naked choke he'd been trying to get on. Lawler is about to pass out, but he hulks up enough to get to his feet, and then slumps back down and passes out, which was pretty great. Like he's on the verge of death. He gets just enough fighting spirit to get to a vertical base, and he's clawing for the ropes as Riddle is just draped all over him. And he's clawing, and then he just collapses to the ground, and then they call the match.
That's great actually
it's a cool ending.
That's interesting that it ended that way, because that's very similar to how the Last Man Standing match with Keith Lee ended, where
really
Lee was barely able to get to his feet from the ropes. I mean, Riddle was trying to get to his feet. He got up. He barely got to his feet and then immediately collapsed back down. There's not enough to stop the ref to make the ref reset the count.
It was great because Lawler's picture the end of the Ember Asuka match.
Yeah,
where Asuka has Asuka lock out and Ember's just fighting, and then she taps out.
Yep.
Picture Lawler doing that kind of fighting, just thrashing and kicking and screaming, trying not to submit, but he manages to get to his feet and then tries to reach for the ropes, but they're just too far away, and then he passes out. So the ending was awesome. The rest of the match was very indie-rific, but I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was fun to watch while at 3 o'clock in the afternoon at the office. I can't complain.
3 o'clock in the afternoon in the office, you're watching matches?
Yeah, I have 3 monitors, so I was able to kind of put the window in the corner.
Oh, man.
Take notes on my clipboard.
Oh, my God. Come on.
Yeah, life was good. On a random Wednesday. This was Tuesday I watched this, so I wasn't too busy.
Lucky bastard.
Doesn't happen often, my friend, but it does happen. The perks of being a full commission job, my boss is like, if you don't want to make phone calls, you're the one not getting paid. So, all right, cool.
Nice. Cool beans.
Yeah, let's get in the meat of the show, my friend, shall we?
Yeah, let's talk about a couple of people who need to get they need to get reamed. Let's just call it these a couple of people who need to get reamed here. And we're going to start with one that's the older bit of news. It's been covered by a couple of our sister shows already, but we're going to get into it since we didn't get to do it last week while we were doing our year-end awards with Don Sal. So let's talk about someone who is no longer anybody's friend, Mr. Michael Elgin. For those of you who are not aware, until recently, Michael Elgin, in addition to being an indie star, a star in New Japan, known all over the place for his work in Ring of Honor and New Japan and lots of other places, Michael Elgin also owned his own indie fed based out of St. Louis, known as Glory Pro Wrestling,
which was getting reviews,
and he was really starting to pick up steam. It was really starting to gain some traction and become a mainstay of the Midwest wrestling scene, which has a lot of really stiff competition. You've got AAW up in Chicago. You've got what the hell is the name of that Fed that's up in Minnesota that the married Marks go to?
First Wrestling.
First Wrestling, yeah.
Or what's his name came out of? Eric Rowan came out of there.
Yep. You've got a lot of other great companies operating in Kentucky and Ohio and Michigan, all sorts of places. Great indie wrestling happening in the Midwest, and Glory Pro is really starting to make its mark there. So, Glory Pro, in addition to being an indie fed, also was Elgin's instruction outlet. He used it as sort of a school for teaching up and coming wrestlers and giving them a platform on which to have their initial matches and such. And he started with he had a student that was starting to come up through his company and was starting to get bookings in other feds, man by the name of Sean Orleans. But what happened was earlier this year, I want to say around March
or April,
or this year, Sean Orleans sexually assaulted
allegedly. Be very careful. Allegedly sexually assaulted.
Okay. A fan reported that Sean Orleans sexually assaulted her at a Glory Pro show, and informed Elgin about it through social media. She explained the whole situation to him, and Elgin essentially did nothing. Through a series of communications that this fan published online, through her Twitter feed, she revealed that Elgin essentially told her, "I'm not getting involved with it. Stay out of my business." While at the same time, also Elgin was also pursuing a relationship with her of a sexual nature, despite the fact that he is married with a kid.
Consensual, right?
Yes, consensual relationship.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
He pursued.
I heard otherwise, but I thought it was consensual. But okay, go on.
Yeah, it was consensual. He didn't force himself on her. Okay. It seems that she initially reciprocated and then ceased to do so after this whole incident with Sean Orleans occurred.
Deservedly so.
So this went on for quite some time until this fan decided to go public with her story. And being faced with the public backlash from that, Elgin immediately fired Sean Orleans from Glory Pro. But, of course, this led the wonderful trolls of wrestling Twitter to come out of the woodwork and come to his defense, despite the fact that Sean Orleans, after the fact, even before being fired and after as well, admitted to the fact that, yes, he had sexually assaulted this fan.
Did he? I didn't know that he admitted that.
Yeah, he.
I was unaware of that.
Yes,
I was unaware that he admitted that. Okay.
Yes, he admitted to it, and despite that fact, wrestling.
I was totally unaware of that. Okay, thank you for telling me that.
The bowels of wrestling Twitter came out of the woodwork in defense.
Okay.
Of Elgin and Orleans, and saying that she was asking for it because of the stuff that's on her Twitter profile. The fact that she tends to post pictures of a sexually provocative nature, that she shouldn't be complaining about assault, all these other awful, horrible statements that nobody should ever make. And eventually it came about that this fan decided to then publish the rest of the communications that took place between her and Michael Elgin, revealing just how long this had gone on.
Well, there's more, though. There's Elgin and slandering her to some gimmick on Twitter or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Eventually,
Elgin came out. Okay. Let me. If I'm wrong, let me know. Elgin came out and was all, "I don't tolerate this. I'm firing Sean Orleans. I had no idea. Blah blah. We don't do this shit in Glory Pro. Blah blah blah." Well, at the same time, he was bad mouthing her to some gimmick account on Twitter, right?
Yeah, there's an account of a guy who goes by the name of Vic Venom Bites, who got into a lot of confrontations with the fan who had been assaulted, and they had very public back and forth about the whole scenario, and then somehow, I'm not sure how, but direct messages between Vic Venom Bites and Michael Elgin were published, basically revealing that even while Elgin had been, publicly denouncing Sean Orleans and his actions, was basically slandering and bad mouthing the fan who was assaulted in private. Now, obviously, I'm not going to get into the ramifications of how the DMs were acquired or the issues with publishing them.
I mean,
the fact of the matter remains that Elgin was a scumbag behind the scenes while trying to save face in the public.
That is a issue, but a very, very, very minor and not important issue.
Yeah, in the larger face of the story, yes. So when confronted with all of this, Elgin immediately departed from social media for the first time, and it was announced that he was selling Glory Pro to unnamed parties. He then came back to social media to try and set, quote unquote, set the story straight, which really is him trying to make some sort of a public attempt to save face for himself, and in the process just proceeded to make himself look even worse. And then he left social media again. And I think he might be back a third time now. I'm not sure. But either way, at this point...
I love how the absolute best case for this idiot is that he's a breathtaking moron.
Yeah.
That's the best case.
Oh, and
like,
and let's
I don't mean to laugh, but like, he just the best case is that he's a slime ball and an idiot.
Let's also talk about the fact
that New Japan.
Yeah, well, this all happened while he was in Japan, and the what might be the only thing about it that's funny, if you can even call it funny, is that part of some of the DMs that were revealed again after the fact were him slandering other wrestlers and talking shit about other wrestlers, including his, at the time, tag partner for World Tag League, Jeff Cobb, saying a whole lot of shit about how Cobb was not that great and should have been talking to him for advice and all this other stuff, and just talking himself up to be this big important guy just because he's one of the biggest gaijins in New Japan, and how Cobb was really not that big of a deal, even though Cobb has been a consistently bigger name and bigger draw than Elgin for the past 2 years.
And so more over at World Tag League for what it's worth.
Yeah. So that in and of itself was funny, but not really, kind of trivial in the face of everything else that happened. But I feel the need to bring that up because I wonder.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that when we talk about World Tag League.
Yeah. Got to wonder how that affected their interactions for the rest of the time of Elgin of Cobb's tour in Japan. But either way,
I have some thoughts. If you have, you go first, then I will tell you my thoughts.
Okay. There are a couple of absolutes in life, and one of the main ones is don't be a dick, but especially don't be a dick to people that have experienced trauma and horror and terror in their lives. Sexual assault is one of the singular worst things that a person can experience in their entire lives. And yet it is also one of the most stigmatized things that takes place in the United States. Victims of sexual assault are the consistently most doubted reporters of crimes. It is one of the most underreported crimes in the entire country. And the hoops that people have to jump through to prove that a sexual assault took place far exceed that of almost any other crime in the entire U.S. judicial system. The victim of this assault underwent massive horror for months of having to live with this in private while being ignored and ridiculed by the only people who she felt she could trust. She chose not to go to law enforcement because she had been through hell with law enforcement in a previous sexual assault case and didn't want to opt to experience that again. So she went the only other route that she knew how, which was to try and make sure that nobody else would be put in a situation where they were around a predator, someone who had been a predator towards her. And she was ridiculed and ignored for months until she finally was able to work up the courage to publicly tell her story, and then received even more public ridicule and derision from people that she didn't even know, from thousands of people that she didn't even know, who took the side of a man who admitted to what he did and went to her and told her that she was asking for it, or that she didn't deserve to be a wrestling fan, or that nothing had happened to her that was serious in any way, or that she was making it all up, or any number of other horrible things that I don't even want to think about because it makes my stomach turn. There are so many people in this situation that deserve to have the taste slapped out of their mouth for their behavior in this. But Michael Elgin is at the forefront of this because he had the information and he chose to sit on it and sit on his hands and say, I don't want to get involved. I don't want to take a stand for an issue. I don't want to do the right thing. I don't want to stand by a victim. I would rather sit on my hands and not make a fuss. If you do that, you are as guilty as the person who committed the assault, because you are allowing situations to continue to occur where assaults might be committed again. Shame on you, Michael Elgin, for keeping this information to yourself for as long as you did. Shame on you especially for slandering the victim after the fact and then trying to cover up for it and save face. And for the sake of the goodness, whatever goodness is left in this business, I hope that no company ever books you again or does business with you ever again or tries to bring you on board for any sort of venture that involves wrestling. Because that behavior is unacceptable and makes you unworthy of being a part of this community. End of story.
I have two thoughts, and I co-sign everything you said.
Okay.
I have two thoughts. Chris, the fact that point number one, the fact that this woman may or may not have slept around is irrelevant. The fact that she had a prior sexual relationship with Orleans is irrelevant. She did not want to go to the police is irrelevant. The fact that she still apparently went to Glory Pro shows after she was assaulted by a Glory Pro worker is irrelevant. All of that is irrelevant. None of that matters. Do you know what matters? That a woman was sexually assaulted. Nothing else matters, Chris.
Exactly.
Nothing else matters. Oh, she may have slept around. Fuck you. That doesn't matter.
Yep.
None of that matters. And you know what the thing that aggravates me the most about this? It aggravates me the most is that one, a woman was sexually assaulted, and let's keep that at the forefront.
Mm-hmm.
And two, it doesn't aggravate me that Mike Elgin is a scumbag and a hypocrite. Not as much as this last thing. It doesn't aggravate me that Sean Orleans is a free man. Not as much as this last thing. You know what really, really just pisses me off and breaks my heart is that Elgin's actions have made it less likely for women to come forward who were assaulted.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee it. They've made it less likely. If one woman who was assaulted looks at this and says, I'm not going through with that, fuck that. I'm not telling anyone because look what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Look, you know, if one woman who goes through that ordeal, through that monstrosity of an ordeal, is less likely to come forward in an underreported crime to begin with, as you said, because of Mike Elgin's actions,
Unforgivable.
That is it. I mean, it literally makes my skin crawl. Like I'm sitting here sitting here just dreading that is a likelihood, not even a possibility, a certainty.
Absolutely.
Michael Elgin's actions.
Yeah.
Women are less likely to come forward to report crimes that are already horrendously underreported. Like, that's the issue to me. Elgin being a scumbag, well, it's wrestling. Like, I don't mean to trivialize it, but that's not the issue. The issue is that by his actions, he's made it harder justice.
Yeah.
And how do you live with yourself if you do that? Like,
let's be clear. We've had a pretty bad year in terms of people being scumbags in wrestling. We only need to go back.
Let's just add to the pile.
Last week's discussion to say, there's been a lot of people who've been assholes. But seriously,
how do you live with yourself if you made it?
For a guy who has a wife and kid at home,
get it.
Who he's trying to support by who he's supporting. Let's make it clear. He's supporting by a job that through a profession that most people would consider a dream job. He gets to go out there and perform in front of hundreds of thousands of people a year and receive all this adulation and praise for what he does. And yeah, he puts his body through hell. But you know what? I'm sure that there are a boatload of people out there who would trade a normal, boring desk job for going in the ring and putting their body through hell day in and day out in a heartbeat. I'm sure there are plenty of people who have dreams of doing that rather than a boring desk job. I guarantee you that. I could probably name some people right off the top of my head who would rather be doing that.
Chris.
And this is how he chooses to comport himself?
She trusted him. Like, this woman trusted his judgment. And how she chooses to come forward is her decision. Like, if she doesn't want to go to the police, that's her prerogative.
Exactly.
Then I would not rape excruciating process, and I can fully understand why someone would not want to go through them. I get that. Chris, she trusted him, and now there are women who are less likely to come forward because of what he did. And I'm not being melodramatic. That's just a certainty.
It is absolutely.
It literally breaks my heart. It makes me so sad. I'm sitting here like with tears in my eyes because she fucking trusted him, man. She trusted him, and look what he
did. And on top, and even more than that, how likely is it that this sort of incident is going to drive even more people away from this community and make this community seem less welcoming and make this community seem less worthy of being a part of? Because people are going to look at behavior like Elgin's and the people on Twitter who put this woman through hell just for coming out and saying that she had a crime committed against her. And people are going to look at that and say, well, this community is clearly full of douchebags. I don't want to be a part of this. And they'd be right to think that. I hate to say that because wrestling has some great people. I've made some amazing friends through wrestling. But there are some people out here who are fucking dumbasses. And I wouldn't want to be around them if that was my first exposure.
I hate to keep circling back to it, but this woman placed her trust in his judgment, and he worse than did nothing. Like, it's heartbreaking. It really is. It's depressing and sad, and
nobody should ever have to go through.
It sucks. It really sucks.
Nobody should ever have to go through sexual assault in any way, but especially no one should have to go through sexual assault and then have the circumstances that surround that assault be thrown back in their face just because that's how they choose to live their lives. Get a clue.
It doesn't matter. None of that matters. Though, like, none of that matters how you choose to live a life.
Here's an important takeaway. You do not have the right, no matter who you are, you don't have the right to dictate how somebody chooses to live their life and conduct themselves on a day in and day out basis.
Matter. No.
What you do,
as long as they're not doing anything illegal or harmful to you.
However, you have an obligation to be respectful to every person around you and to treat them like a fucking human being. And that did not take place.
It's the bare minimum, guys.
Yeah.
Like, fuck. So, I don't know, man. I mean, it sucks. It really blows because it's going to be harder now to prosecute these crimes. Harder, not easier.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
a crime that's already all but impossible to prosecute in the best case scenario.
Yep.
It's now harder.
Again, public stigma. Public stigma around sexual assault is abominable. It is. I'm having to bring out my own mental thesaurus for this because like there are no words to describe this that are adequate.
If a guy is robbed, nobody's like, oh, you had it coming.
Yeah.
But it's a woman is sexually assaulted. It's if you wore a short skirt, ha. Like the fuck, man, come on. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it sucks. It really sucks. And you know what sucks even more? You know what sucks even more, man? And this goes to Rich Swann too. Both these fucks are gonna get bookings sooner or later. It's gonna happen.
Yep.
That's gonna really suck.
And this is
from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, you're gonna get public statements of apology, and they're gonna get booked, and they're gonna get over, and it's gonna suck.
Look at Bram.
You know what?
Look at Bram. It happened with Bram. It's gonna happen with these guys.
I mean, and look at Real Sports.
And right? you know why that is? And this is the reason why, like, in the end, I mean, this isn't explicitly stated at any point in time, but it's easy enough to tell. The reason why Elgin did what he did in terms of not reporting the situation, and the reason why Elgin acted the way he did in the DMs and just being a general fuckhead is because in this business, it's still more important to be one of the boys than it is to do the goddamn right thing. Fuck all of that. If what you care more about is of how you are perceived by your peers than you care about doing the right thing, get the fuck out of life. How do you live with yourself? If how you live with yourself is the fact that the boys accept you for the fact that you did something that is, by all accounts, completely amoral and unacceptable, and that's how you sleep with yourself at night, get the fuck out of life. That's just, oh my God, that makes my blood boil. They're
coming back, man. They'll come back. I guarantee it. Yeah. And they'll be cheered, and they'll be get used to it. And I'm guilty of it. I'm a Cubs fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Chicago Cubs fan. Last year, the Cubs had a man who beat his wife, and he won a World Series game for the Cubs, and I cheered. Like, it's gonna happen. Rich Swann's coming back.
I'm guilty of it too. Mike Vick got signed by the Eagles, and when they had great seasons after great season with him at quarterback,
and
I cheered for him.
I cheer for Patrick Kane. He may or may not have sexually assaulted someone. We'll never know because the woman didn't come forward. Fancy that.
Oh, people fucking lose their goddamn minds when Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out to a ring.
And we'll segue to Swann here. Elgin and Swann are going to get bookings.
Yeah.
Just get ready now.
Yep.
And yes, Swann is an actual legal shit instead of Elgin, who's just quote unquote in a slime ball. Swann is in actual legal stuff, but I mean, he's going to serve his probation, his 6 months probation or whatever sentence he gets, and he's going to go off the grid and come back in a year, and he's going to get books because he's served his penance, and we're believing second chances, all the other shit you hear when talented people get away with crimes.
Yep.
Right? It's going to happen. Get ready. And you know what? I'm fucking done, Chris. I'm done. I'm done with all of it.
Yeah, it's unacceptable. It's terrible.
AEW is a show December 30th I was not going to go to just because I was saving money to go to WrestleMania, and I did not want to go to this AEW show. It was Saturday, New Year's weekend. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to go. The main event was going to be Elgin versus Ray Phoenix. They booted Elgin. They brought in Jeff Cobb, and now I'm fucking going because I want to send a message that they did the right thing. Even a one-man message with my $20 general admission ticket. That, you know what, guys? You did the right thing. You didn't have to. No one put a gun in your head and said, don't book Mike Elgin.
Congratulations to all the fans.
Said, oh, we don't know. Yeah, absolutely. And fuck you and die, Ian Rotten, by the way. But No, they didn't have to. They could have easily said, "Oh, we don't know what happened. It's a he said, she said, and we're gonna honor our commitment," and blah blah. You know, they could have easily had some mealy-mouthed legal statement about that, protecting themselves. But you know what? Props to AIW. Props to AAW. Props to everyone else who looked at this and said, "This is unacceptable." I told you this today. Be the change you want to see in the world, right? Mahatma Gandhi.
Yep.
Like, it's us. We're it. We're the change. So,
yep.
Let's talk about Rich Swann real quick. Arrested in Gainesville, Florida, for 2 eyewitnesses say that he was grabbing his wife. I don't know her shoot name. Sue Young, the wrestler Sue Young.
Hang on. It's a complicated name. I know her last name starts with a V.
Yeah, I don't know her shoot name off the top of my head.
Vanara Riggs.
Thanks, Riggs. They had an argument after a show. She worked in Florida. Liquor may have been involved, if that's any excuse. They were driving home, got into an argument. She jumped out of the car to get away from the situation. He jumped out of the car, grabbed her in a headlock, and threw her back in the car, according to the police report and eyewitness. The car rolled into a telephone pole. Park. That's how tilt he was. He was arrested. He was released on his own recognizance. About 6 hours after he was arrested, WWE suspended him, and rightfully so. They had no other option. And they took the right option. We give them shit for taking the wrong option. They swiftly, immediately, and decisively said, "We're done with this."
Yeah.
Barring a complete dropping of the case by the Florida District Attorney, and I'm almost positive the state of Florida has a law in the books that even if the partner does not want to prosecute, the attorney can still prosecute if they want to. There are some states where the wife or husband of the perpetrator can say, "I don't want to prosecute. You know, it was just a drunken argument, you know, blah, blah, whatever." And the district attorney can say, "Okay, fine." And there are some states like Florida that the district attorney does not take that into account, and rightfully so. So barring Chris, there are 2 eyewitnesses on the record, and Miss Riggs' statement on the record. It looks bad for Swann.
The arrest report is out there in public. It's been published many times.
Yeah, it's Alachua County, I believe, in Gainesville. It's the Alachua County Police Department in Gainesville. Sue Young had worked a show that night, and Swann was being violent and abusive.
And you know what? Let me just say, you know, there are going to be a lot of people who are going to come out and talk about Swann's story, because he does have a really tough story. But you know what? In the long run of things, his story, what he's gone through in his life, really doesn't fucking matter when he chooses to act this way. You know, you can talk about, you know, him coming out of his past in Baltimore, losing both of his parents, you know, getting himself off of drugs after, you know, he got involved with gangs and drugs, and then, you know, getting himself clean and getting started in wrestling and making his life better. You know, that's all well and good, and people will talk about it as like, oh, it's such a shame he did so much to help himself and now he threw it all away. Let's make one thing clear. Talking about this in terms of what this is ashamed of or not ashamed of really does not put this in the right light. And I was a fan of Rich Swann up until this occurred. But let me make it abundantly clear. Swann chose to be violent towards his wife, who, by the way, he's been married to for less than a year. Swann chose to act this way. And he needs to pay the consequences for what he chose to do. That's just how it goes. Doesn't matter where you came from, what you did before this, you know, how you might have fixed yourself up, you know, what kind of, you know, none of that. None of it fucking matters. You fucked up. You did something that's a crime. Pay the goddamn price.
That's it.
And
this is a much.
It's much more black and white.
Yeah, much more black and white than Elgin is.
Yeah.
You know, like this is. I don't know. This is. Yeah. And again, props to WWE for suspending him like 6 hours after he was arrested. Like he was arrested like 3 a.m. on Saturday, and they were tweeting about him being suspended like 10 a.m. that Saturday. So props to them for that. Company with its own long, dark history of this shit.
Yeah.
And
let's be clear.
They did the right thing here, and I'm going to. They did the right thing here, so I'm not going to throw them under the bus. You know.
Let's be clear here, though. If it is like if it is a case that Rich Swann was, intoxicated or was unable to was not in full control of his faculties, doesn't change the fact that he still committed a crime.
Yeah, no.
If anything, it only makes it worse.
Yeah,
we prosecute drunk drivers worse than we prosecute, people who just drive recklessly while they're sober, because it just makes the situation even worse. He willingly decided, even after his story, even after his history of problems with mind-altering substances, he willingly decided to get, if alcohol was involved, that was his own decision to get to the point where he was that drunk. And it's not acceptable. It's not.
Yeah,
any circumstances.
And I'm seeing on Twitter, oh, she was drinking too. Dude, that doesn't matter. Go fuck yourself. It doesn't matter,
no.
Go fuck yourself. Come on, guys.
Again, the circumstances surrounding how the victim chooses to comport themselves do not change the severity of the crime. It doesn't ever work that way.
Nope,
there is never a case where the circumstances surrounding the victim of a crime change the severity of the crime committed against them. There's a reason why we have rules in place regarding self-defense or other such scenarios. This is not a case of that.
No, this is not.
Very
this
clearly.
Is a guy grabbing his wife.
Eyewitness reports.
Yeah, there are eyewitnesses with a guy grabbing his wife by the head and throwing her into a car. But he's getting booked again, man. It's gonna happen. I don't know, man. This it's gonna happen. And it always does. If you're talented, you get off. So.
Happens in wrestling. Happens in real sports.
It's not just wrestling. Happens in real sports. Happens in real business. Happens, it just happens, and it sucks. And it is easy to feel powerless, but try to live your life the way you want. Pretend that your children are watching, your hypothetical children, if you don't have any.
Yeah.
And one day they're going to ask you, where were you when X happened? And you're going to say, yeah, I did this, this, and this, and this, have a good answer for them. And if you don't, you're the one who's got to wake up and look yourself in the mirror every morning. Right? And if that's your thing, you're going to be the one who's facing the Almighty at the end of the day. And you'll be the one who's going to have to answer the questions, right? One way or the other. So live your life. Live your life good, clean, respectful for them. Not rocket science. Learn this shit in kindergarten, right?
Yeah.
I'm not asking. Apparently, I'm asking too much, Chris. Fuck. But it just sucks. So
it really
all sucks. I hate everything. So, I don't know, man. This was it's good to talk about it though.
No, we got it's the reason why we talk about this stuff is because it's important for these kind of events to be put in perspective and for people to know that there are right ways of going about situations and wrong ways. The right way of going about situations is looking at it objectively and being able to say these people did something wrong and they deserve to be vilified for it in whatever way is proper and legal. The wrong way to go about it is to victim blame and victim shame and to make up stories and to justify the actions of people who committed crimes.
And here's the worst part. And to justify the actions of people who committed crimes because they're good at professional wrestling or hockey or baseball or football. Come on, man. And I'm guilty of it too. I'm not, believe me.
Yeah, no, we already said we
believe me.
We are.
I live in a glass house here. I don't want you to, You know what I mean? So it's just we all. I mean, it's cliche, but we all have to do better. So
Yeah.
And props to AEW and everyone else for not booking Elgin.
Yep, and
So,
props to WWE for the
WWE for
suspension of Swann and
swiftly,
following protocol.
Yep. So, you got anything else on those, my friend?
The only other thing I can say, and you know, this I'm gonna harken back to the Bram situation here because you know I discussed this last week when I talked about you know the whole ICW booking of Bram and how British wrestling has kind of taken a stance alongside him despite his admission of guilt and you know people coming to his defense. Let me make one thing clear. You know, to expand upon what George just said. If someone is your favorite and they do something wrong, you can still say that they're your favorite for what they do in the ring, but be very clear about your willingness to accept or not accept their chosen behavior. If you choose to accept the fact that Mike Elgin victim shamed a woman who was sexually assaulted and hid the evidence of it until he was unable to do so anymore, and you still support him continuing to be successful in his career, that is problematic, and you need to make sure you identify yourself as being problematic in that situation. If you continue to support Rich Swann in his career, willingly admitting the fact that he assaulted his wife, and you still want him to be successful in wrestling, that's problematic, and you need to admit that it is problematic. Don't try to justify. Don't try to cover it up. Don't try to diminish it. Own up to your opinions. Own up to your biases. And own up to the fact that you may have your judgment may be clouded.
I mean,
be honest.
I do it all the time. Like, all the time. You know, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time is Chris Benoit.
Mm-hmm.
All the fucking time, man. Every time I watch an old match of his. And other guys. Dynamite Kid. Piece of trash. Awesome worker. Like, all the time. And that's just in wrestling.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, again.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
One of the greatest wrestlers of all time.
You know?
Beat his wife. A lot.
Yeah. But as long as you can accept that, I mean, you know what Walt Whitman said, I am large, I contain multitudes. Like,
if you can live with it, then own it. Yeah.
I mean, we all do. We all make that decision. So own it though. Don't just own it. That's it. So all right. What do you want to talk about? Clash? World Tag League?
Let's get into the actual wrestling events that are going on here.
Clash?
Let's start with Clash, yeah.
Okay. Clash of Champions.
Happening this Sunday on the WWE Network.
SmackDown Live show.
Yes. And by all accounts,
match? You got any overarching thoughts about the show, or?
I will say overarching thoughts in a year of WWE pay-per-views that have been either largely hits or extreme misses. This is likely to be another extreme miss because this card is not inspiring by any stretch of the imagination.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Let's start from the pre-show. What is likely to be the match that has the most interest on my part, at least. Grudge match between Zack Ryder and Mojo Rawley, following the breakup of the Hype Bros and Rawley turning heel and assaulting Ryder a few weeks ago on SmackDown.
About time. Well needed.
Yeah. These guys both needed a shake up. Rawley needed to be put on his own because he excelled when he was on his own while Ryder was out injured.
He did.
But
he was more of a face then.
Yeah,
he toned down the get hype, stay hype stuff, which I liked.
Yeah.
I don't know if does his gimmick work as a heel?
I think that they've largely dropped the get hype, stay hype stuff and really just made it him being just intense all the time, which I think that they can make translate as a heel, because they can turn that intensity into maliciousness pretty easily.
Yeah, that's not a big jump.
I think that can work. And, you know, depending on what happens in some of the other matches on the card, I think that it's very easy to slot him then into a feud with another popular face.
You ready
That
for
intensity.
Mojo Rawley challenging for Bobby Roode's Intercontinental title early next year?
US
title, excuse me.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say.
mean,
Yeah, but if they choose to keep Bobby Roode as a face and have him win the U.S. title, I am fully expecting a Mojo Rawley Bobby Roode feud, and Mojo will be carrying the weight of the feud. But I mean, so much the better. I mean, that's a good way for him to elevate himself, and I don't mind. I don't mind heel Mojo.
Neither. I mean, he was going nowhere
And
he won the Andre because his friend is Gronkowski, and you know.
Now this is an opportunity for them to actually do something with one of their homegrown projects.
Yeah,
which is something that they haven't done in a very long time. Now, and Ryder can slot back into being a mid-card gatekeeper. Yeah, because that's the role where he excels. He's been with the company for forever.
Maybe Mojo and Road become a tag team called Glorious Hype.
Yeah.
I approve.
That would be interesting.
I approve.
Yeah, good shout, Zed. I like that.
Yeah, we needed that. That was clever.
Yeah.
I mean, this is probably my honorary running at Thai food match that I have every
on the pre-show. You're gonna get your Thai food on the pre-show.
6:30. I'm old, Chris. I go to bed early. I eat early.
I go to bed early too, but like that's really early.
Yeah, maybe because there's another match. There's another match that's coming up that is perfect for the running at Thai food match.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
This, like I said, this is the match that probably is the most emotional investment for you. That's just because I've enjoyed this slow burn breakup very much.
True.
Going down now to the bottom of the main card. We'll start from the bottom and work our way up. We got a tag match between Breezango and the Bludgeon Brothers that was set up by a Fashion Files that didn't air on TV and was only on the WWE network. Because let's
also in this picture, Breezango wearing captain's gear.
And apparently the Ascension aren't dead, but no. This goes to show just how much investment WWE has decided they actually have in the Fashion Files, despite it being one of the gimmicks that has gotten over the most. WWE just decided, you know what? Nah. Even though people are going crazy for it, we don't really give a fuck. Which is sad because Breezango was a fun tag team, and I'm really loving the work that Harper and Rowan are putting in as the Bludgeon Brothers. They're doing good stuff. That squash match that they had this week on SmackDown was fucking hilarious, with the one dude screaming before the assisted powerbomb. That was fantastic.
I mean, I'm all in for. I'm all in for War Machine 2.0.
Yeah, these guys are doing good work. But
hey, I mean, Luke Harper was floating around in the ether for God knows how long. I'm glad he's back on my television.
Exactly, yeah. But WWE's decided, nope, don't care. So here's a nothing tag match for you guys. It's not going to have any ramifications. As further up the card, we'll just jump right to this. We have ourselves a fatal four-way for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, which basically
this should be great.
It should be a fun match, yeah.
Yeah, the Usos and New Day are our tag teams of the year.
Yep, great job.
And Gable and Shelton can work.
Yep.
And who doesn't celebrate Rusev Day? I
don't. But that's because I'm a curmudgeon and I am just I'm just sick of Rusev, but that's just me.
You are. I think their tag team names should be named Rusev Day.
I think that's what it is.
Is it really?
I think it might be.
SmackDown hasn't done a multi-team match like this in a while, and it does make sense. The Usos feel too early to lose to Gable and Benjamin. Rusev Day are entertaining, but putting the straps on them isn't the worst idea, but I still think the Usos should retain. Yeah, I like long reigns, Chris, as a rule.
Yeah, I think the Usos retain here also.
I like long reigns, and then you build up a challenger, and then the challenger beats the champion, and then I don't like hot-shotting titles.
Yeah.
At all.
I think that the Usos retain here by pinning Rusev in English. The only reason you have Aiden English in a championship match right now is to have him eat the pin, which is unfortunate but true.
That's true. That's okay though. Some people are there to eat the pin.
Yep. That is just the circumstances.
That's how it is. The world needs ditch diggers and pin eaters.
Yep.
You know?
And yeah, so I think that Usos retained by pinning Aiden English, and then we get a proper singles match between the Usos and Gable and Benjamin at the Rumble, possibly.
See, I don't know.
Or maybe not even.
But there's a lot. You know what? There's a lot of people. I mean, you got a pen and paper handy, or a Word document or something handy.
I can definitely open up a.
a Word document. We're gonna do this real quick, because there's a lot of people, a lot of men who on this roster right now who can go in the Rumble. Like all here, right. I'm gonna give you some names. You ready?
Yeah, go for it.
We know Brock, Kane, and Braun are doing their whatever, right? Yep. Roman, Seth, and Dean are all in the Rumble. I feel that's safe to say, right?
All right, Roman, Seth, Dean. Okay.
The Bar, I think it's safe to say.
Sheamus, Cesaro.
Elias will be there. Jason Jordan will be there. Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt will be there. You know, Matt Hardy will be there. Like on SmackDown, Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler and Baron Corbin are all going to be there. Shinsuke Nakamura is going to be there. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Like, I'm sorry, am I going too fast?
No, that's fine. I was thinking AJ Styles, but he's got the strap right now, so he might not.
He's got the strap. He's going to be defending it against someone. Maybe. Yeah, no, the strap will be defended. Yeah. So I mean, AJ and opponent X will be on the SmackDown side. Will not be in the Rumble because they'll be.
Yeah.
Wrestling. I mean,
that's 16 names already.
And I haven't done the part-timers yet. I haven't done Triple H. I haven't done John Cena. I haven't done Randy Orton. I haven't done, you know what I'm saying? I haven't done anybody from NXT. I haven't done any like returning weird dudes, you know, like where the old guy comes back for the one time, like Mick Foley or something.
That's already more than half the field.
Yeah, and that was just off the top of my head. And that doesn't count any of these tag teams. The Usos could be there. The New Day could be there. Rusev and English can be there. So, I mean, we may need – normally the Rumble is kind of a black hole in terms of undercard shit. Normally, on the men's side, you have the two belts and the Rumble, and that's it. We may need just to kill some time, you know? Yeah. Like, I can easily see a tag team match going at the Rumble or an Intercontinental match. You know, or something like that. So, True. I don't know. I mean, we'll know more as we get closer. We'll get to Rumble. We're going to get to Rumble qualifying season next week. We'll start having the matches on Raw, you know. So Finn Balor will beat Elias and qualify or whatever. You know, that's always par for the course.
Yeah, so that's the nonsense stuff,
Yeah, like.
And I mean, you know, and from our programming standpoint, let's see, the Rumble is on.
When is it?
Excuse me, January 28th.
Are you going? It's in Philly.
I don't know. But I do know that on January 25th, the Thursday beforehand, we're going to be having our Royal Rumble Super Show with a whole buoy of guests. Bevy is the right word. A whole bevy of special guests. So mark your calendars for that because that's going to be a fun
show. Good stuff.
We're going to have a whole lot of people here to talk the Rumble because the Rumble is – regardless of, you know, the quality of the Rumbles over the past few years, because there have been the Rumbles have been markedly down in quality over the past few years. But
the Rumbles themselves, yes.
Yeah. But you know, it's still fun. It's still a fun event. It's still fun to talk about it and speculate on who's going to be there and who's going to be coming in at different points in the
it's super fun live. If you've never been to one and it's in your town, go. It's a lot of fun live.
Yeah.
It's really – I went to the one in San Antonio.
It's a damn good time.
Yeah. Marcel, the chances of Roman carrying the Intercontinental title into WrestleMania I think are fairly low. Not 0, but I would say 25%. I think he's dropping it. I think he's dropping it on a Raw between the Rumble and the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
And then he will go after Brock. I don't see a Hogan Warrior WrestleMania 5, I think it was, or 6, maybe 6. You know, one has the IC, one has the World Champion. Let's see who wins. You know.
Yeah.
So.
They don't really do that.
I don't see it. I wouldn't. It's not impossible, but I think it's maybe 25% chance that he has the IC belt going into WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So,
but in any case,
who's one? I have the Usos winning this match. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Who's
I do too.
winning this match?
Yeah, and for the match before that, I had the Bludgeon Brothers. Yeah,
Bludgeon Brothers.
That's a foregone conclusion, basically. Yeah, I
Here's
got
my Thai food match.
Yeah, Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura versus Kevin Owens.
Oh no, that was my Thai food match is this U.S. Championship 3-way.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay, my Thai food match is the U.S. champion. I'm actually sort of intrigued in the tag team match, although not really. But go on.
Well, this is the one story on SmackDown that's actually been getting consistent and dedicated airtime. Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, with special guest referees Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan. And the stipulation is if Owens and Zayn lose, they are fired from WWE.
They're going to win, and either Daniel or Shane is turning heel.
Oh, DB is turning heel.
Which means
let me wax poetic here about the fact that this is the one feud that's been getting such consistent airtime here. This feud is the most glaring occurrence of the typical WWE symptomatic behavior of get the McMahons over everybody else.
That's it. 20 years, baby.
And
20 years.
How they are choosing to do that is by taking beloved indie wrestling figures Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and turning them against the company, and then trying to turn the company's biggest babyface of the past 2 decades, Daniel Bryan, and trying to turn him heel against management. And they're putting the face side of things, the side that is supposed to get the crowd invested and on their, into their corner. The face side of things that is they're trusting to get the fans on their side is billionaire playboy Shane McMahon, who cosplays as a wrestler, boring as fuck Randy Orton, who's been lost in the wasteland for a year.
Yeah, it's funny. He's had a terrible year, but through like almost no fault of his own.
And
like when he wants to, and he's wrestling somebody good, he has a good match. That match against Styles on SmackDown in March was awesome.
Yes.
Like it's not his fault he was in the House of Horror.
Yeah. And probably worst of all, unmotivated and unsure of his role, Shinsuke Nakamura.
I texted my dad. I'm sorry. My dad's guess as to who wins the Rumble. We like when my dad does run-ins.
Yeah.
I go, hey, Dad, because we were talking about other stuff. And he goes, hey, Dad, any guess as to who wins the Royal Rumble? Nakamura or Finn, then we see the winner versus AJ.
Yep.
All right. And he goes, maybe Joe, ? He is on fire. But I don't think Joe. Nakamura or Finn.
Mm-hmm.
And about 12 texts.
Yeah.
My dad's one of those texters. You get the friend who sends like 8 messages.
Oh, yeah. I do that sometimes.
Yeah, so do I. My dad's one of those guys. So, yeah. Nakamura or Finn. And then the winner challenges AJ.
But yeah.
And my dad doesn't care that Finn's on Raw. He's like, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
We'll make it work. So,
but yeah, it's really telling.
What does Shane do at WrestleMania? Speaking of,
wrestles Daniel Bryan. I don't fucking know.
You ready for this? Theory that I saw on Twitter that probably isn't true, but. What do you think about the theory that they're cooling off Daniel Bryan before he gets released?
That's entirely possible.
Turn him heel, cool him off, try to cool him off.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's going to backfire spectacular.
Oh, 1,000,000,000% yes, but.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like
I don't think Daniel Bryan's cleared.
The fact that the company believes that they can successfully make people root against Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and Daniel Bryan all at once.
Yeah.
By pitting them against Shane McMahon, who has lost all goodwill, Randy Orton, who was forced to sacrifice all of his goodwill, and Shinsuke Nakamura, who they have hilariously mismanaged and misbooked throughout the entirety of the main roster run. The fact that they think that this will work in the story that they're trying to tell is so absolutely ludicrous. I don't know how it is that they think this can happen. Like, did they pull a Scarface and just inhale 16 pounds of coke apiece before they wrote this story? Because
everyone's been doing a good job in their roles. It's just weird.
It's everybody would be doing a good job in their roles, but they'd be doing people are doing a good job in their roles, but they'd be doing an even better job in their roles if roles were all reversed. Because nobody wants to fucking root for the son of the billionaire, who's trying to impose his iron will. Nobody wants to root for the boring, hand-picked chosen one who has been slogging through the worst shit of the year for the entirety of the year. And right now, most unfortunately of all, nobody wants to root for the unknown guy who they say is a big deal, but don't treat like a big deal in the least. Who is simply treading water until they give him a program that people are actually going to be invested in. Because let's be clear here. The only moment of the main Shinsuke Nakamura's main roster run where he has been actually looked like as big of a deal as he says he is was that face-off between him and AJ in the ladder match.
That's it.
That's the only moment. That 10 seconds of the two of them staring each other down in the Money in the Bank match is the only moment where Nakamura has looked like the deal that they have tried to present him as. And it makes me weep to say that and to think that, because I think about what Nakamura's previous accomplishments were. And I'm just like, God in heaven, you gave up all of that to come to WWE and be made to
twice as much money.
And well, yeah, make twice as much money, yeah. And that,
not get kicked in the head every night.
God love him for that. God love him for that.
Yeah, hey, chase that paper, Shin.
To be made to just look like that much of a fool.
I mean,
I understand. People are going to be willing.
They fed him to Jinder Mahal and then canceled one of the India shows, and then had Triple H kill Jinder. This fucking company, Chris.
I understand. You'll be willing to show ass. You'll be willing to show ass if they back enough money up to your house. If they back a big enough dump truck full of money to your house, you'll be willing to show ass for just about anything and anyone. But come on. Come on.
I mean,
come on.
How about this, man? They go to India. They use Nakamura to elevate Jinder after using Cena to elevate Nakamura, right? The entire time, Nakamura, we're focused on India. 1.3 billion people in India. India. And you know what? I mean, if this isn't proof positive that Twitter likes and Facebook likes and YouTube views don't matter, I mean, Chris, all the YouTube views of Jinder Mahal segments were huge in New Delhi. And yet when they went to New Delhi, they couldn't actually sell out a house and drew less people than they drew 2 years ago.
Oh, my God.
Because Indians aren't stupid.
Yeah.
All right? So you use Nakamura to elevate Jinder, right? And then you use Jinder to elevate Triple H, that young up-and-comer. With a great future. After Triple H beat the crap out of his two lackeys, too.
Yep.
Beat him clean with one pedigree. And then Jinder bowed to him.
Also, the night after Triple H lost to Roman, too.
Good. You should be losing to Roman.
Yeah, you should be.
Everybody should be losing to Roman.
Yes.
But
but it's just hilarious to me
All
that like
the people should be losing to Roman.
how many months did they? Let's just go right ahead to.
You know what?
This is week. Here, but I don't
this
care.
is week fucking 2 of the 2 guys, 1 sport victory lap around the bases for Jinder Mahal. Because you know who was right that this was a failure? Chris Colin and George Atsavis, your host.
Colgan, but yes.
Sorry.
Everybody forgets the G. Yes.
Sorry, I thought it was silent.
That's all right.
Well, my dad says also turn Randy Orton heel. He's way better at it.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
Yeah.
Sorry,
gotta turn Randy soon. He's a great heel.
Sorry,
Badass
Mr.
SmackDown needs a great heel.
Attitude there, but yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
Hey, you know.
Oh my God! But yeah, let's just jump right in. I don't care that we're jumping around the card. Let's just jump up the card here to this fucking WWE Championship match of AJ Styles versus Jinder Mahal with the Singh brothers. Is there any universe where Jinder wins the title back? No.
It's over. This was it. You know what? I would not be surprised if his ass is future endeavored in the next year. Wouldn't shock me if his ass. This is it for Jinder Mahal main eventer.
Absolutely.
It's been real. It's been real.
He is headed. He is going to plummet down the card.
Have fun on main event, dude.
Yeah, he is going to drop down the card faster than a safe out of an airplane in a Wile E. Coyote cartoon.
Yeah. You know, like when Wile E. Coyote runs off the cliff and then he looks down and he falls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like now,
exactly
have fun on main event, man. It's been real. Get the fuck off my main card.
Yep, Singh brothers.
I would be astonished.
Singh brothers, see you back on 205 Live. Again, if you are even still with the company again, and see you back on 205 Live soon.
And here's the deal with if he wins, right? Let's say he does win. Your WWE champion just got punked by Triple H on a house show that you were publicizing.
Yep. You publicized him bowing to Triple H.
Because got to get the 50-year-old Triple H over, man. That young up-and-comer. The most insecure man in the history of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
And I love him. Love me some Triple H. When I was in high school swim, I did the water spit before my meets. That's how big of a Triple H fan I was. Yeah. I love me some Triple H.
Wow.
But dear fucking Christ, man. Like, you know? Like, yeah. Yeah, I would be shocked if Jinder wins.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
Shocked.
There is, like, if you want to go out on a limb and try to make a shitload of money in one fell swoop, but don't mind if you lose said bet, put some money down on Jinder Mahal to win at Clash.
We'll see. I don't even know what I don't even know what the lines are.
The smart money isn't in yet, I'm sure. But although who even knows this in this point in time if smart money is even a thing anymore, since there have been so many pay-per-views. That's another thing about this year in WWE pay-per-views. There have been so many pay-per-views where the smart money has come in and then been wrong because like word around is that Vince is trying to trying to outsmart the smarts now, and like is leaking false information and stuff to try and throw people off because he still cares that much about his product being viewed as unpredictable and real. God, that man.
The fact that they drew less in India now than they drew 2 years ago, and they spent 6 months promoting in India in Jinder Mahal, and he got resoundingly rejected. I mean, like,
but the crowd fucking loved Roman Reigns.
They should, and they love Triple H.
That pop that Roman got
because they want to see stars, Chris.
Yep.
They're not dumbasses.
Yep.
Don't pander to them. Don't treat them like they're idiots. Hey, this guy from Calgary, he's one of you. No, he's not. He's from fucking Calgary.
Mm-hmm.
We want to see Roman Reigns and Triple H and the Shield.
Yep.
That's what we want to see. WWE crowds all over the world want to see stars. Not complicated. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's simple.
I mean, shit, ain't tough. So, yeah, AJ wins this match. It's, God willing, like 9 minutes long, and we can move on with our lives.
No, this is the main event. It's going to be at least a 20-minute match, which is going to be fucking awful.
AJ's a warlock, but
there is going to be interference galore.
AJ's a warlock, but dear Christ, man, 20 minutes?
Maybe 16.
How long was the SmackDown match?
Mercifully.
SmackDown match was what, 2 commercials? It's like 15, give or take. Yeah. Okay.
15,
I don't think this is the main event. I think the Daniel Bryan, Shane McMahon shit's the main event.
No, actually, yeah, you're probably right. Now that I think
I
about
think
it, yeah.
that's it's all about getting McMahon's over, man.
Oh,
So
God. Yeah, because they're gonna promote it as like this. The stakes are higher
yeah,
because
I think the Sami
Owens and
Zayn
Zayn's careers are on the
Nakamura. I think
line.
that's the main. I think that's the main event.
Yeah,
If Jinder and AJ's the main event, it's like 16 minutes. If it's not, it could be like 8. It could be
yeah,
wham bam, thank you, ma'am. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
8 minutes, come in, forearm, let's all move on with our lives. You know,
Please, dear
pretend this
God,
debacle
please.
never happened. And you know
Yeah.
what? And I don't blame Jinder. It's not his fault he sucks. Well, I mean, it is his fault he sucks because he sucks. But he was over pushed. Like,
Yes.
you know, he's a mid-carder at best who should be treated like a mid-carder. Instead, he was treated like a main eventer because you thought social media mattered more than actual media.
Yeah.
Newsflash, social media doesn't fucking matter.
Mm-hmm.
You know what doesn't matter, Chris? Twitter likes, Facebook likes, YouTube views, Instagram likes. None of that shit matters.
Yep.
It doesn't matter unless you do something like WWE's doing with the mixed challenge thing and actually selling content to Facebook.
Yep.
Selling. That's the key word. Selling. What's the key word? Selling.
Selling. The thing that Roman Reigns does way too well.
Yes! The thing that Roman and Brock are great at. Not chasing YouTube views because some server farm in New Delhi has people who are liking YouTube views when they're not too busy farming World of Warcraft gear and selling it to people.
God.
All right. Anything else on this card? Oh, the women's match.
Yeah, well, we got. Let's actually talk about your Thai food match first.
Oh yeah, my Thai food match.
Yep.
Baron Corbin.
Baron Corbin, Bobby Roode, and Dolph Ziggler for the United States Championship. Because why?
Because why? Yep. Don't care. Don't care. Who do you think wins? Do you have any idea?
I mean, it makes perfect sense that Roode wins this match because they've been pushing him to get a title. I think that's how they eventually turn him into heel Bobby Roode. Whatever.
I think Roode wins the match.
These are 3 guys who I have literally no investment in, and they've done nothing to convince me why.
There's like 4 people in this entire main roster I care about. Like, and like only one of them is on SmackDown, and that's the champion, which helps.
Yeah.
Like, I care about AJ. I care about the Usos. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Oh, and Becky Lynch, but she's gone. So
she's off filming with The Miz.
Yeah. So yeah, I care about Becky Lynch because she's cool, and she's the babiest face who ever babied.
She's perfect.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah.
And she looks like Lilith the Siren.
Yes. Then finally, we'll talk about the match that's going to be an absolute clusterfuck because it's not even about the 2 people who were in the ring. Lumberjack match for the SmackDown Women's Championship between Charlotte Flair and Natalya.
I hate the stipulation. I hate when New Japan does it. Remember the Sabre Jr. What was it? Goto Lumberjack match?
No, it was Goto and Suzuki.
Oh yeah, forever. And how god awful was that?
Oh God. Lumberjack matches are almost never
I can think of one good one when Seth and Dean had theirs in 2014.
Yeah.
That's it. In my entire life. Well, no. There was a Prince Devitt Hiroshi Tanahashi one from like 2012 that was pretty good too.
Lumberjack matches are usually not fun.
They're not. They're garbage.
Yeah.
Do you think Carmella cashes in?
Possibly. I mean, she will be at ringside. I can easily see this as a situation where both Charlotte and Natty end up outside. The Riot Squad decides to capitalize on the moment and beat the shit out of both of them. And then everybody else kind of joins in. Everybody ends up laid out. Carmella cashes in mid-match and uses that opportunity to pin one of them. But then again, I could also see them not doing that because the real story that they're trying to go for here is that it's the whole women's division versus the Riot Squad. And it wouldn't make sense for Carmella to cash in while they're still building that story. So I think that they hold off on the cash. I think that they hold off on the cash in until we have a match where it's Charlotte versus Ruby Riott. I think that's when they do the cash in.
Okay.
And is after whenever they have Ruby challenge Charlotte for the title, maybe at the Rumble, maybe at Elimination Chamber. Or no, not Elimination Chamber. What I think it's Fastlane is the February SmackDown pay-per-view.
So it goes
or
Rumble,
March.
Chamber, Fastlane, Mania, right?
So Fastlane will be March, and it'll be the SmackDown pay-per-view. So yeah,
between the Rumble, each show has a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I think that they need to have it be Naomi chasing into Mania, not Charlotte. But they're gonna go with Charlotte because
it's gonna be Charlotte. It's the story they're telling is Charlotte versus the Squad.
Yeah.
So too bad.
So who knows?
Whatever. Charlotte's a very gifted in-ring worker, but her character is nothing for me. So
yeah, stale as shit.
Yeah, it's just whatever.
Like I said when we started this review, this card is extremely uninspiring.
I'll watch because I hate myself, but no, I'm just kidding. I'll watch unless I'm doing something.
Yeah. I'll watch unless I'm streaming Borderlands, which is entirely likely.
Maybe I'll play Borderlands and have this on in the background.
Yeah, maybe. Speaking of things I'll be watching while playing Borderlands, let's talk about Final Battle, which is tomorrow night.
Yeah. Let me get my
in the city so nice they named it twice. New York, at the Hammerstein Ballroom. I could have gone to this, but it's not. It's not in my. It's not on my docket of things to attend live.
You could go to this, or you could do anything else.
But unfortunately, since you watch Bound for Glory, I made an agreement with you that I would watch Final Battle.
I may watch this too, to be honest. I gotta go Christmas shopping tomorrow. I get paid tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
I get paid tomorrow too. But
I gotta buy some last minute stuff.
I'm a smart person. I do all my shopping online.
Yeah. Well, there's a store. My sister needs some sweaters for work, and my boss, who is my sister's age and more or less build, since she gets hers from this store that has a sale and they have an actual location. So I have to thankfully it's not far from the train on the way home, but I gotta go there and I gotta buy a card, put a gift in, that kind of crap.
Yeah,
I don't want to do any of that stuff on a Saturday or Sunday. I want to do that Friday after work.
Yeah. All right, let's run down this card.
All right,
start from the bottom and work our way up. We've got a 6-man tag for the ROH World 6-man Tag Team Championships between the Hung Bucks, that being Matt and Nick Jackson and Adam Page, versus the team of Flip Gordon, Dragon Lee, and Teton.
This should be fun.
It'll be fun, but I don't see any way that the Hung Bucks lose.
No, but it'll be fun though. That's okay.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with a fun wrong with a fun 6-man.
Yeah, it should be a good time. I mean, anytime I get to watch Dragon Lee is always a good time because he's
Teton's pretty great, and so is Flip Gordon. And this match is perfect for the Bucks. They're gonna come in, do their Buck shit, and go home.
Yeah. Then we've got a tag team match for the ROH World Tag Team Championships between the Motor City Machine Guns and the Best Friends. It's Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin versus Beretta and Chucky T. Fun fact, I have never seen a single match of Alex Shelley's, either as part of the MCMG or from his time in Time Splitters with Kushida. I've never seen Alex. I don't even know what Alex Shelley looks like. I have no fucking clue. So this is going to be my first time seeing him.
Small white guy who does indie moves. He looks like everyone else in Ring of Honor, Chris. They all look the same.
Yeah, there you go.
He looks like a small white dude with long hair.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Beretta and Chuck T win this, but who knows? I don't know enough about Ring of Honor to know how the MCMG is received right now.
I watch very little Ring of Honor. This match should be damn good though. Matt Taven versus Will Ospreay.
Matt Taven's the guy.
A lot of fun.
Matt Taven's the guy from the Kingdom, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Let me see. Right click.
I got a couple of people who are.
This is our show prep, guys. Sorry, we don't watch Ring of Honor. Matt Taven, a short white guy with long hair. Actually, 6'2". He ain't that short.
That's as tall as me.
Curly shit going on in his hair with a headband. This picture doesn't no favors either.
Yeah.
So, yes. Hey, he. Oh, get this. He and Miracle Mike Bennett do a wrestling school in Warwick, Rhode Island.
Nice.
West Warwick, Rhode Island, which I would say is near your hometown because the entire state of Rhode Island is all on top of each other.
Yeah, it's probably like no more than 20 to 25 minutes driving distance from my mom's house.
Nice.
I'm willing to bet that this match is going to lead to somebody getting a shot at the television title, which we'll get to in a minute. So I'm betting on Matt Taven winning this since Taven's a more local guy.
Yeah, but this match should be good though.
Yeah. Then we've got tag team match between two mainstays of ROH, The Addiction, Chris Daniels and Frankie Kazarian versus War Machine.
Done with Christopher Daniels, man. It's been like 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Give it up.
Versus War Machine.
You're like the old guy at the bar. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, dude.
I mean, I gotta think that this match is gonna set up a future ROH World Tag Team title shot. So War Machine's got to win this.
This, by the way, this next one is my Thai food match. If I get Thai food,
yeah. Jay Lethal versus Marty Scurll.
Yeah, no thanks. And Marty Scurll wrestles only person in the world who I care about Marty Scurll matches is Will Ospreay.
Yeah,
because they work really well together and they tell cool stories. Jay Lethal and his beer gut, no thanks. And his finisher that sucks.
Oh God, no! Like, stop reminding me that I'm gonna have to watch that shit.
If you watch this, I'm around. I will watch it with you, Chris. I apparently do hate myself.
Yeah. Next up, we've got a 4-way elimination match for the World Television Championship between Kenny King, Punishment Martinez, Shane Taylor, and Silas Young. If Punishment doesn't win this, then they've wasted him entirely because like they've spent so long building him up, and he's already pretty old. Yeah, so I mean, they've got to strike while the iron's hot with him. So I figure he's got to be the one that wins this.
Yeah,
and probably
he's already 35.
Yeah, he's probably winning it in pretty dominant fashion too.
As he should.
They're gonna make the most use of him that they can. Then we've got a New York street fight between Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer versus the Briscoes. I got to figure that this is going to be the Briscoes winning because this is probably going to be some sort of a retirement match for Bully. Because why else would you bring Tommy Dreamer in for a fucking street fight unless it's you're going out in blaze of glory.
Bully Ray's like half retired for like 5 years now.
True, but
wrestling nobody ever retires. Yeah. They may bring the Undertaker back at WrestleMania.
God, because why ever bother to be consistent and stick with the stories you tell?
Because they don't know how to make stars.
Fucking hell. And then the only match on this card that actually matters, and the only reason why I say it matters is because of the implications it might have for Wrestle Kingdom.
Right.
Cody versus Dalton Castle for the ROH World Championship.
If Dalton Castle wins, does he face Ibushi?
No. If Dalton Castle wins, then the Cody Ibushi match becomes a special non-title singles attraction match.
And Ibushi should run in and help Cody. That happened in wrestling. Okay.
That would be hilarious if it did.
WrestleMania 13 was Taker and Sid versus Taker versus Sid and Hart versus Austin. So Taker was the champion going in, and he was wrestling Bret Hart on the Raw before WrestleMania. And whatever happened, whoever won, their match would be for the title. So Steve Austin, even though he hated Bret Hart, ran in and gave Taker a stunner. So when Bret Hart beat him, their match would be for the title, which makes sense. Then Sid came in to kind of interfere the other way, you know what I'm saying? To help his opponent at WrestleMania keep the title so his match could be for the championship. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Ibushi should run in and beat the shit out of Dalton Castle so that way he could face Cody for the Ring of Honor Championship.
Well, we've had an even more recent example of that, and that was when James Ellsworth turned on Dean Ambrose when Ambrose and Styles were in the middle of their title match, so that Ellsworth could beat Styles and become the WWE champion.
Yeah, but that was because he was delusional and he thought he could beat Styles.
Yeah,
this was explicitly helping your opponent that you hate because you want to beat him for the belt.
Yeah.
Because Chris, see what happens when the belt matters?
Yep.
Wow, the Winter Olympics are in a month. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Dalton wins this, and then Cody and Ibushi's match becomes a special attraction match because
you think Dalton wins this? I like it. I hope so.
Yeah, I mean it's well past time for them to put the title on Dalton. He's far too talented, and they've wasted far too much time with him. If they don't put the title on him here, then they will.
Too bad. He deserves better.
He absolutely does.
But you know what? 3-star Cody Rhodes the draw somehow. So
Dalton is far too talented to be mired in this shit still.
Wow, now my dad wants AJ Seth at WrestleMania. Dad, what are you talking about?
Dad, no. Me
too, but I want. Oh, my God. Listen. I sure want AJ Nakamura, but Vince and Triple H love Seth for some reason. With Roman versus Brock in, they could cause confusion with Seth winning against AJ and teasing Seth possibly turning on Roman, then switch Seth to challenge AJ to keep the Shield fans happy. Is that even English?
That is English, but I don't think they do that because they've already turned Seth.
They do love them some Seth Rollins, though. He's not wrong.
But they've already turned Seth once. I don't think they do it again.
Yeah, I think we're getting heel Dean, but
I don't even want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm interested in this match purely because the Cody Ibushi match will be affected by it. But I mean, I also would like seeing Dalton Castle because
I like Dalton Castle.
Talented as shit. He knows his shit. He's good at what he does. So I hope he wins. If this match is anything beyond 3.5 stars, then Dalton Castle's really great. Yeah. This is another uninspiring card, but it is a card that we will watch. Yeah. Or at least I will watch. I don't know about you.
Maybe.
At least I will watch.
I'll have it out of the back. If I can find a free stream, I'm not paying $30. And I'm not asking you to pay $30 either.
No, hell no. I am free streaming this. Even if I can't watch it live, I will find a way to free stream this before I ever pay a dime of money to Sinclair.
Yeah, not even that. But imagine paying for pay-per-views in 2017. You could just stream everything.
Yeah.
All right. World Tag League.
All right. So we got two.
I saw the final. 2
stories related to World Tag League. One of which I'll do, and then one that you'll do because I know you want to talk about. You got a couple of feuds you want to talk about happening on opposing continents. I don't know if discussing those 2 feuds are related or not, but either way. World Tag League, the blocks were finally decided. Block A won by LIJ's team of Evil and Sonata, beating out the 3 teams that were tied for second: Juice and Sammy, Hangman and Yujiro, and Goto and Yoshihashi, all tied at 8. Evil and Sonata edged them out with 10. And meanwhile, over in Block B, 3 teams tied for first: Grills of Destiny, War Machine, and Killer Elite Squad. Shocker of shockers. But based on tiebreakers, Grills of Destiny beat out the other 2 teams. So in the finals, in what was actually quite a fun match, an enjoyable match.
I enjoyed this match. It was a hell of a lot better than Bushi and Bad Luck Fale.
Oh, God.
That may be one of the worst New Japan matches of the year, by the way.
Yeah.
That match was garbage. But go on.
But in the finals, Evil and Sonata, after 20 minutes, beat Tangaloa and Tamatanga to become the #1 contenders for the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, and will be facing the Killer Elite Squad at Wrestle Kingdom 12 for said titles. Now, as far as this concerns the never openweight 6-man titles, which Evil and Sonata still hold along with Bushi, there was speculation or talk that they were going to just put the belts on hold while they challenged for the tag titles. However, New Japan instead has booked a 6-man tag between the LIJ team of Bushi, Evil, and Sonata to face the Bullet Club team of the Guerrillas of Destiny and Bad Luck Fale at one of the Road to Wrestle Kingdom shows. Yeah. I believe the one that is happening on Christmas Eve, actually.
Yeah, when the snow comes down at Cork and Hall.
Yeah.
I love that. Every year the show ends with Tanahashi standing on the ring post and the snow falls on him. You know what I mean, right? Every year. Yeah. That's how I know Christmas is coming. I see Tanahashi get snowed on.
I strongly suspect that Bullet Club is winning the titles there, and that they will defend against some bevy of other teams. Yeah. They will defend the titles against some bevy of other teams at Wrestle Kingdom, and it will be nonsense gauntlet and multi-team bullshit match, but it'll be a match all the same. But you know what? At least it gets the Guerrillas away from the Killer Elite Squad, which God love them for finally doing that, because Killer Elite Squad are fucking shit. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I hate them. They're
not as terrible. I mean, they're not great. They're not even good, but they're not as bad as you think they are.
Well, I mean,
they wrestle War Machine. They wrestle War Machine and Guerrilla Destiny like 40 times.
Yeah, that lasted way too long.
So,
yeah. So the card for Wrestle Kingdom currently has 7 title matches set for it. It may become 6 depending on the outcome of the Final Battle tomorrow night. But either way, there are 7 matches set for the Wrestle Kingdom 12 card. And one of those you're going to talk about now.
Yeah. Did you see the Chris Jericho Kenny Omega press conference?
When Jericho threw a table
When Jericho's sitting there cutting the promo and Kenny Omega jumps him because Jericho jumped him the night before and cut him open.
Yep.
Jericho throws a table at him and is being dragged out of the room, calling him, "You son of a bitch, you MFer, blah, blah, blah."
Yep. I'm going to end his career.
Wrestling's easy. It's two guys who don't like each other. I did not care about this match other than the novelty aspect. Care about this match. They got some color. They got some profanity. They're cutting promos on each other. They're going at it on Twitter. You know, like Dave, everybody's happy. You know, Dave's two biggest sources are working him. Like, this is easy. Wrestling's not hard. And I want to talk about Matt Hardy as a segue. Chris, you're a Star Wars fan.
Oh, I am.
Have you read Shadows of the Empire?
I have many times.
Shadows of the Empire takes place between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. There is a scene in there that I love that reminds me of this. What's his name? Caesar or Zizor, whatever the hell his name is?
Prince Caesar, yes.
Prince Caesar is going to the Imperial Palace to have a conference with the Emperor. And he notices that the air tastes funny. And then he realizes it tastes funny because it's been scrubbed through like 3 or 4 poison filters to make sure that nobody poisons the Emperor. That's what WWE is. Matt Hardy was cool at TNA. He's not cool anymore. It's very typical of WWE to take something that was cool and send it through 3 or 4 air filters and have it come out not tasting like air.
Yeah.
Remember when Fandangoing was a thing for like a minute and then WWE co-opted it and no one did it anymore?
Yeah.
Where's the wacky Matt Hardy humor? He's
terrible.
A caricature of himself.
He is. It's terrible.
Because it's gone through 3 or 4 air filters. Or in this case, 25 writers.
Yeah. None of whom are allowed to do their jobs effectively.
Because they work for a 75-year-old guy who needs to be validated.
A senile old man who needs to be put out of his fucking misery.
WWE doesn't know really what's hip or cool because they're run by a 72-year-old guy and his doofus yes men. So
yeah,
they're trying to manufacture something that isn't there.
You know,
and this shit's organic.
I went and watched those side-by-side promos of Hardy and Wyatt, and you know, I can appreciate why people are excited about it because it is different from what Matt Hardy's been doing.
Oh, it's better because he was dead in the water.
Yeah, but by the same token, just because it's different doesn't mean it doesn't mean it's an acceptable quality of good. It doesn't mean it's satisfactory. It doesn't mean that it fulfills the requirements for being good and watchable television.
This isn't broken Matt Hardy. This is broken Matt Hardy as told by WWE writers.
Yep. This is broken Matt Hardy that's been watered down to the point of being understandable for kids that are hypothetically watching the show.
Kids are, something I learned teaching. Mm-hmm. Kids are nowhere near as dumb as adults think they are.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's.
Kids are way smarter than adults, and any parent will tell you this. Kids are way smarter than adults will ever give them credit for.
Yeah, let's blow that myth right out of the water that kids are stupid. No, kids understand a hell of a lot more than you think they do. So, yeah, it's rough. It's rough to have to watch that.
Oh man, my dad has more bad thoughts about this.
Oh no.
I go, heel Dean is Roman's first opponent after Mania. He goes, maybe, but they can remind everyone how Seth cashed in on WrestleMania to screw Roman. Then the Shield can have a feel-good moment, and Seth will give Roman Brock, I don't know how, and challenge AJ. That will make Dean jealous, and then he can blow up the Shield. I love my dad. I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
I don't think that works. I do not think that works.
I don't know. I mean, I get it, but I don't know.
I don't think it works. But
that's all right. I love you. You're an honorary member of the show, but it's kind of off on an island there, my friend.
Mr. Itzavis, you've kind of lost the thread.
Yeah, I love you, Dad, but maybe it's time to go to bed.
Yeah, it's a little late.
It's a little late, pops.
But yeah, so that's World Tag League. That's the and those are the two feuds you wanted to talk about. Last thing before the show,
easy, guys. I say this every week. It's easy. This isn't complicated.
Wrestling is easy. WWE makes it hard.
That's it.
All right. Last thing before we close out for the night and do our plugs and whatnot. Kind of a bittersweet thing for me, but what are you gonna do? Let me just see what the actual date on this was. This actually is actually a few weeks old at this point. I'm shocked. I only just heard about it today, but I did. So back on November 19th, Yoko Bito faced Io Shirai in her third defense of the Wonder of Stardom title and lost the title to Io Shirai. And after the match, announced that she would retire from professional wrestling on December 24th. This is going to be Yoko's second time retiring. She initially started up her wrestling career coming through the Stardom's dojo in 2010, along with Mai Iwatani and Kairi Hojo, graduating from the class trained by Joshi legend Fuka. She was one of the finalists in the first tournament to crown the inaugural World of Stardom champion, where she lost to another Joshi legend in her own right, Nene Takahashi. Had a pretty illustrious 2 years to her career before having to retire in November of 2012, citing neck and back injuries, but made her return last year in April of 2016. She announced her return in April of 2016, made her official in-ring return in June 2016. She took part in the 2016 5-Star Grand Prix and won the entire thing, defeating Tessa Blanchard in the finals to win the tournament, before going on to unsuccessfully challenge Io Shirai for the World of Stardom title on October 10th of last year. She then formed a tag team with Kairi Hojo, won the Goddess of Stardom's tag tournament, and won the championship with Kairi Hojo in December of last year. And she has gone on to be a pillar of the promotion for the entirety of 2017, especially during the time when Io Shirai was out with injury, Kairi Hojo was retiring and moving on to WWE, and now especially lately when Mai Iwatani has been out with injury as well. So it's very sad to see her go. She will wrestle her final match on December 24th at Korakuen Hall, and wish Yoko Bito all the best and thank her for being a key member of Stardom's success throughout some of their formative years and through some of their most difficult years more recently. Wish her all the best in wherever she chooses to go from here. It sucks to see someone retiring at such a young age. She's only 30. She's going to be 31 when she retires. In fact, actually, no, she is officially 31 now because her birthday was yesterday. Her birthday was yesterday, December 13th. So she officially is 31 years old now. And unfortunately, to have to retire from the ring again, it sucks to see her go. But all the best, Yoko Bito. Hope that wherever you go from here, you find success and fulfillment in your future endeavors. And that is it for us tonight. Let's run through the plugs real quick. You can catch our friends tomorrow night, Fizzy's Wacky World of Wrestling at 8 p.m. Friday nights. They took over our old time slot like the irascible sons of guns that they are, but we love them.
Scoundrels.
Those scoundrels. But we love them, and we hope that you love them too. Tune in and check them out tomorrow night. I'm sure that they will have words on the Rich Swann controversy and their own thoughts about Clash of Champions. Then Saturday morning, you can check out Shooting Debris with Taker's Minion and Mr. Dr. Senju. We will be showing up on Shooting Debris in just a couple of weeks. I believe the show
30th, I believe.
December 30th, their end-of-year show. They're going to be doing their own set of year-end awards. We will be on the show. Fizzy and Don Sal will also be on the show. And we're going to have ourselves a hell of a time just talking about the year that was in Graps. So be sure to check them out and be sure to tune in for that on the 30th. We also have, as I mentioned during the course of the show, coming soon. Still not sure exactly when it's going to be starting up, but we'll tell you as soon as we know. The Violent Wrestling Podcast with Ambrose Alley and Prince Moxley Lopez. Coming soon to talk about CZW and all sorts of deathmatch style wrestling. If you're not familiar or educated on that style, you should, of course, check them out as soon as their show goes live. We will have all the details for you as soon as they are finalized. And, of course, you can check out our friends at the Married Marks, Not Your Demographic, and Face Like Feministas on all major podcasting syndication locations. Give them all your support and love. Check them out on social media as well. They are far better at this than we are, but we love them all the same.
Hey, we're trying, big guy.
Yeah.
Oh, they're good people, though.
Yes, they are great people, and we love to support them and promote their shows. So be sure to check them out, subscribe, give them a like, and all that other good stuff. Next week, we're going to be recapping Clash and Final Battle. We'll talk about whatever else happens in the course of the week for WWE, the build-up to Wrestle Kingdom. Oh, yeah, we're also going to make sure we talk about the Mixed Match Challenge that was announced this week. We'll get to that next week because we are.
When is it starting?
That's part of the reason why we're covering it next week because I don't know all the details.
Yeah, I don't know any of the details.
We're gonna take some. We're gonna do our due diligence, and we'll get back to that next week. So stay tuned in for that. We'll talk about the Mixed Match Challenge and the participants and all that good stuff. Speculate on who the teams will be, et cetera, et cetera. It's a slow period for the next couple of weeks.
Never a slow period. It feels like.
Yeah, but this week and next week are kind of slow, except for the outside the ring stuff. But 2 weeks from now, in 2 weeks,
it's coming. The Dome, baby.
Wrestle Kingdom preview show.
It's coming.
And then 3 weeks after that, less than 24 hours after the Dome show takes place, we will have your full recap of the events of the Dome.
Like literally, like
the
12 hours after the show ends.
The day of.
The day of is going to be our podcast.
Yeah.
So it's going to be awesome.
Be ready for that.
I may be getting a job transfer. I'll know more next week. If I am not, if I'm staying in my current position, I am taking the day off to watch.
I already have the day off.
If I am, it's going to be very tough for me to get a new job and then, in my company and then get a day off right afterwards. But we'll try to make it work, maybe a half day or something.
Yeah.
Either way,
I've already put in and got accepted for taking that full day off, so I am going to be.
If I stay in my current job, I will for sure take the day off, or at least a half day.
Yeah.
If I am changing jobs, will be a little more difficult.
Yeah.
But either way, the way it works, I got 3 hours after I work to watch the show, so I'll watch the main event matches.
Yeah, and we're gonna cover it all. It's gonna be a hell of a card too. We'll get to that in 2 weeks, and then 3 weeks we'll have our full recap. So be ready for that. You can check us out on Twitter at 2guys1sport, number 1 in the handle. Be sure to also follow us on iTunes. Give us a like, give us a recommendation, a rating, and whatnot. You can find the link in the description to the YouTube video here. It has the link to get you over to iTunes. And of course, tell everybody to check us out, tune into us for as long as we were able to continue this. As I said, Ajit Pai is a piece of shit, spineless invertebrate. So we have 60 days until net neutrality is repealed, unless there are some successful motions done in court to get it put back in place. So keep your fingers crossed and be sure to be in touch with your government officials to try and make sure that they know the importance of making sure net neutrality gets put back in its place where it belongs. And until then, I think that's all for us. George, take us out here, please.
Heavy episode today, guys. We appreciate the support. We appreciate your listening. We appreciate your friendship. And we appreciate you guys and ladies trying to make this world a better place. Because at the end of the day, it's all we got, right? All we got is each other. So that's Chris. I'm George at 2guys1sport. This has been another episode of 2guys1sport. Thank you so much for making us part of your Thursdays. And we will talk to you in 1 week's time.
Yep. Episode 40 is in the books. Good night.